Attention! This is not material for passive consumption. It is designed to be heard with maximum concentration. The following revelations are direct, potentially disturbing, and may challenge your perceptions. Due to the sensitive nature of the content, its availability may be limited. Your experience on this topic is valuable. Leave it in the comments.
You walk away from an argument feeling like you lost, but you don't know how. The story shifts mid-conversation, like quicksand under your feet. Your own words are twisted, turned inside out, and used against you with surgical precision. Suddenly, without understanding the transition, you find yourself apologizing for their behavior. You feel exhausted, confused, as if you're moving through a thick fog that messes with your memory, your feelings, and your very identity. Have you ever felt that? As if you are losing a war you didn't even know you were fighting? If this fog of confusion feels familiar, if this mental exhaustion is a constant in your life, pay very close attention. You are not crazy. You are not losing your mind. You are being methodically and intentionally manipulated. And today we are turning on the lights. Welcome to our investigative lab. Today the target isn't a person, but their weapons, the words. Specifically, the phrases used in one of the most vicious forms of psychological abuse, gaslighting. A tactic designed to make you doubt your own memory, your perception, and ultimately, your sanity, until you become a prisoner in your own mind. We will not just list these phrases. We will put them under a microscope. We will dissect the intent behind each one, the corrosive damage they cause, and most importantly, how to build an impenetrable mental shield against them. Each phrase is a piece of evidence in a crime against your reality. If you are ready to dismantle this power structure, piece by piece, subscribe to the channel, because this investigation is only the beginning. And it starts now. Exhibit A. The invalidation. The weapon. You're being too sensitive. Or its twin. You're overreacting. The tactic. This is perhaps the most common and effective weapon in the gaslighter's arsenal. It's poison served in a teacup. The goal is simple and devastating: to invalidate your emotions. By framing your reaction as the problem, they successfully deflect attention from their offensive behavior. For example, they make a cutting remark about your new haircut in front of friends. When you later say, "That hurt my feelings," they don't apologize. They look at you with mild surprise and say, "Wow, you're being really sensitive. It was just an observation." In seconds, the conversation is about your oversensitivity. They are training you, like a lab animal, through negative reinforcement, not to react to their transgressions. Over time, you begin to believe them. You internalize the narrative. You start to think that maybe you are too sensitive, that maybe you are overreacting. You stop trusting your own emotional responses, which are your internal alarm system. And a disabled alarm is exactly what an intruder needs to operate freely. The shield. The internal truth you must repeat to yourself is this: my feelings are a logical and appropriate reaction to your actions. There is nothing wrong with my sensitivity. It is what alerts me to danger and disrespect. The issue is not my reaction. It is your behavior. Exhibit B, the reality denial. The weapon. That never happened. Or its variants. You're imagining things. I never said that. The tactic. This is a direct assault on your sanity. It is the atomic bomb of gaslighting, designed to demolish the foundations of your mind. By categorically denying the reality of events you know occurred, the manipulator forces you into a state of excruciating cognitive dissonance. You know they promised to be home for dinner at 7. When they walk in at 10 without a word, and you bring it up, they state with absolute conviction, "I never said that. I said I'd be home late. You must have imagined it. You know what you saw. You know what you heard. But the person you trust is telling you it didn't exist." Over time, this tactic corrosively destroys your self-trust. You begin to doubt your own memory. Did I imagine it? You ask yourself. That doubt is the poison. The more you doubt yourself, the more dependent you become on their version of reality. They become the keepers of your history, and they can rewrite it however they please. turning you into an unreliable secondary character in your own life. The shield. Anchor yourself in your truth with this powerful affirmation. I trust my memory. I know what happened. Your denial does not change the truth. Your attempt to rewrite history is merely proof of your manipulation and your desperation to avoid accountability. Exhibit C. The cloak of humor. The weapon. I was just joking. Or its variant, can't you take a joke? The tactic. This phrase is used to disguise insults, criticism, and cruelty under the veil of lightheartedness. They say something painful, cutting, designed to hit you where it hurts. That dress isn't very flattering on you, is it? They might say with a smirk. When you react with the pain they intended to inflict, they quickly hide behind humor. This tactic is doubly perverse. First, it invalidates your pain. Second, it makes you look like the villain, the humorless, rigid, irrational one for getting hurt. They stab you and then blame you for bleeding on their carpet. It's a way to punish you and get away with it, maintaining their image as a fun and easygoing person, while you are labeled the killjoy. The shield. Your internal defense is sharp and clear. A joke is only a joke if both people are laughing. If the intent was to hurt me or diminish me, it wasn't a joke. It was an attack. My pain is a valid response to your cruelty, not a failure of my sense of humor. Exhibit D. The smokescreen. The weapon. You're misunderstanding me, or its variant. That's not what I meant. The tactic. This is a tool for evading responsibility for their own words by creating a fog of confusion. The manipulator says something clear, often hurtful or compromising. When confronted, instead of owning their words, they accuse you of a failure of interpretation. They shift the blame to your ability to comprehend, not their clarity. This leaves you in a loop of confusion, trying to decipher the real meaning behind simple words, doubting your own intelligence. The goal is to exhaust you in a semantic debate, causing you to give up on holding them accountable. They are masters of creating a verbal smokescreen to escape any situation unscathed. The shield. Your truth is, I understood the words you used. Your attempt to change their meaning after the fact is a manipulative tactic to avoid responsibility. I am not responsible for distorting your words. You are responsible for them. Exhibit E. The generalizing label. The weapon. You always do this. Or its variant, you never listen to me. The tactic, the use of generalizations like always and never, is a way to lock you in a box, to define you in a negative and unchanging way. They take a single incident, maybe you forgot to pick up milk, and they blow it up into a pattern of behavior that defines your entire character. You never think about anyone but yourself. The goal is to label you as the fundamental problem in the relationship. You didn't make a mistake. You are the mistake. This is incredibly demoralizing because it's impossible to defend against a generalization. You get stuck trying to prove you aren't always one way or never another. An impossible task that deflects from the original issue and puts you permanently on the defensive. The shield. Your defensive mantra should be, I am not defined by always or never. I'm a complex person, and my actions cannot be reduced to a simplistic and unfair label. Let's focus on the specific incident we are discussing, not on generalized attacks on my character. Exhibit F. The blame shift. The weapon. It's because of you that I'm like this. Or its variant. Look what you made me do. The tactic. This is one of the most childish and dangerous forms of manipulation. A complete abdication of personal responsibility. The gaslighter refuses to own their own behavior, be it a fit of rage, an act of infidelity, or any other transgression. Instead, they project the blame onto you. They are not an agent of their own actions. They are merely a reaction to something you did or didn't do. They yell, and it's because you pushed their buttons. This not only absolves them, but it also burdens you with the guilt for their abusive behavior. You start walking on eggshells, trying to manage their behavior by modifying your own, an impossible and maddening task that turns you into the emotional custodian for your own abuser. The shield. The fundamental and liberating truth is, you are responsible for your own actions, words, and emotions. I am not responsible for your behavior. Trying to blame me for your choices is the ultimate proof of your manipulation and immaturity. Exhibit G. The invisible army. The weapon. Everyone agrees with me. Or its variant. Even your friend, family member's name thinks you're wrong. The tactic. Here the gaslighter recruits an army, real or imagined, to validate their position and completely isolate you. By claiming that everyone agrees with them, they create the illusion of an overwhelming consensus against you. This makes you feel small, isolated, and wrong, as if the entire world is against you. Often they have never even spoken to these people, or they've twisted the conversation to get the response they wanted. It's a tactic to intimidate you into self-doubt using the power of social pressure. This is a favorite tactic of another dangerous profile we've investigated here, the covert narcissist, who is a master of creating a flawless public image to invalidate your truth. The shield. Your inner fortress is this. My reality is not decided by a committee. Your opinion and the alleged opinion of others does not invalidate my experience. I trust what I feel and know, regardless of who you claim agrees with you. Exhibit H, the non-apology. The weapon. I'm sorry you feel that way. The tactic. This phrase sounds like an apology, but it is its exact opposite. It is a masterpiece of passive aggression disguised as maturity. A genuine apology takes responsibility for the action. I'm sorry for what I did. This phrase, however, subtly places the blame on your feelings. The problem isn't what they did, but your excessive or incorrect reaction to what they did. It's a way to shut down the conversation, appear to be the mature one who apologized, and yet take absolutely no responsibility, leaving you feeling like your feelings are the real problem to be solved. The shield. Your clarity comes from knowing. That is not an apology. It is a way of invalidating my feelings and dodging responsibility. I don't need pity for how I feel. I need accountability for the actions that made me feel this way. Exhibit I. The emotional debt. The weapon. You're destroying what we have, or its variant. After everything I've done for you. The tactic. This is emotional blackmail designed to trap you with guilt and fear. The first phrase positions you as the destroyer, the villain who is ruining the good thing you have, which, in reality, is their control over you. The second phrase invokes an emotional debt. All their good moments or acts of generosity are brought up as proof that you are ungrateful and have no right to complain. The goal is to make you feel so guilty and indebted that you back down and accept the bad behavior to preserve the relationship. The shield. Your freedom lies in this truth. A healthy relationship is not built on debt or fear. My desire to be treated with respect is not destroying anything. It is trying to build something healthy and authentic. And past acts of kindness are not a free pass for present abusive behavior. Gaslighting works in the dark. It thrives in the confusion and self-doubt it plants in your mind. By naming these phrases, by understanding the tactic behind them, you drag them into the light, and like creatures of the shadows, they lose their power under the glare of your awareness. Recognizing the tactic is the first and most crucial step to disarming it. If this investigation has brought you a moment of clarity, help this information reach others who are still in the fog by liking this transmission. Your reality is yours. It is your most precious asset. Do not surrender it to anyone.